This episode is brought to you by the Regional Air Quality Council. This summer, don't go it alone. Carpool and combine trips, or take public transit to get where you need to go to reduce ground-level ozone. Created from pollutants like car exhaust, ozone is the Front Range's biggest air quality issue and a leading cause of respiratory problems. Learn more ways to help improve air quality in the Front Range at simplestepsbetterair.org. And sign up for summer ozone alerts to know when it matters most by sending Better Air CO to 21000. This episode is brought to you by the Denver Art Museum. Check out the Denver Art Museum's next late-night event, Untitled Artist Takeover, happening on Friday, July 25th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Join featured artists and disability rights activists Wheelchair Sports Camp for an evening of fun, including art making, offbeat art tours in the galleries, one-night-only art installations, and performances by Wheelchair Sports Camp, Denver's biggest, smallest band. Untitled Artist Takeover is included in general admission and free for Denver Art Museum members. Reserve your tickets today at denverartmuseum.org. Today on CityCast Denver. Has Mayor Johnston flip-flopped on bike lanes? We're comparing some of his latest comments to the way he was talking back on the campaign trail in 2023. Plus, a new bike safety campaign is taking over Wash Park. An anonymous city planner responds to some recent complaints. And I went to Lakeside over the weekend and I have feelings about it. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Happy new week.
The high days of summer.
Things are
moving slow.
Yes, we are really in the thick of summer for sure.
I want to hear this story. You were telling me you had a story. You said you had a story about Lakeside.
Well, I haven't been to Lakeside in a few years, and I realized because my son is 4 and he'd never been there before.
It's time to start making those memories that are going to be important.
Yeah.
If he's going to be a Lakeside person.
I know. And so my cousin was here from Pueblo with her kids, and she was like, hey, let's do like a family trip to Lakeside. And I was like, cool. So a bunch of my cousins and my aunts came, and we met up at Lakeside. And I'll be honest with you, Paul, I partially haven't been in a few years because I was like, there's a lot. The cyclone's not running, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't face it. I was in deep denial about it, and I didn't want to be at the park.
I get it.
You know?
There's a weird vibe around that place right now. I mean, it's one of Denver's best things.
I know.
When the cyclone is running, I love that roller coaster. It's like a historic roller coaster. Coaster enthusiasts know it all over the world. And,
the park is known. I mean, it's one of those vestiges of a time that just doesn't exist anymore. And
has the beautiful architecture, the great lights, that nice lake. Where you take the train around the lake and you go and see flora, the back of the Mexican restaurant.
Massive cottonwood trees, all of that stuff is still there, and it's really beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I do want to say, before I get a little bit bummed, I'll say the great parts. It's super affordable still. It was really busy in a great way. You still don't have to wait a super long time for anything, but the park was full of people. It was full of families. It was awesome. And one of my favorite things, everybody I ever encounter there is so nice. So we went to the Eat Way Inn to get our hot dog and our nachos, and these poor dudes were over a grill and over a fryer, and there was no fans in there, and it was 1,000,000 degrees, and they were joking with us. One of the guys was showing me his Tigger tattoos, we were having a tattoo conversation. They were so friendly and so cool. And it's that's what I love about that place. The service is great. Also, the food, 3 of us ate for $20. Amazing. I don't know where else you can do that. It was super affordable.
This is the food inside the park that you're getting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's partially why I go there. Yeah. Hot dogs, funnel cakes. Oh, poor funnel cake guy. That line was 20 people deep. And he was like, guys, it's going to be 20 minutes per funnel cake. And everybody was like, okay.
No.
I'll wait.
20 minutes. We were there, my wife and I, we went there probably a month ago. It had been a similar situation. We hadn't been for a few years, and we went to the funnel cake guy. That was the highlight of the whole thing. There was no long lines. It was very good, and the guy was very funny about it. he was doing the whole, here's your funnel cake, but taking it back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I love that. They hire great people. And even the teenagers at the front were so nice.
Okay, but what are you not saying? Sorry, what are you not saying about this?
A lot of stuff was closed. The kiddie land, like some rides were not only not closed, they were just like half there. They looked abandoned. The biggest thing, the Cyclone being closed, you don't realize how much that adds to the ambiance of the park. But like the sound is missing.
Yes.
The constant sound of the roller coaster and the screams and the energy. It felt weird. I was like, you could tell everybody working there was trying their best. And again, it was crazy packed. But the Cyclone, it just didn't. It felt like a person was missing. Like there was a whole thing missing from the park. And I have to say, it was looking pretty worse for wear.
I had the exact same impression. It was looking real bleak, bleak. Like it had deteriorated a lot in the last couple of years. Did you see the new coaster they got? Because they did invest in this new thing. It's a new Italian. It's like a modular thing and they build it. Normally, it's like I was reading about it because it's the kind of coaster that you can disassemble and reassemble, and it's normally like a traveling carnival thing. That's why they designed it. So they built it and now it's, I guess, permanent at Lakeside. Was it running?
Well, it has had 5 different homes, I was reading.
Right. Yeah.
And it is 45 years old, new. I wrote it actually with my cousin Andrea, and I didn't love it.
Okay. Sorry.
It's not a roller coaster. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's a coaster, but after riding a wooden roller coaster, the Cyclone, like there's just... it's a ride. It's a new ride. I'll say that. Don't go there thinking it's a roller coaster because it's not. It was fine.
This is an interesting distinction you're drawing.
Well, like the roller coaster has this like drama. Like you go through the tunnel and then you go up this like insane hill and it's really slow and you hear the mechanics like the click, 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 and it's slow. And then when it shoves you down, it's like G4. It's like there's a force. This other thing was like a herky-jerky, like no audio, like no sound enticement. It's just a ride. It's a different ride. It's fine. It's just not a roller coaster. And
well, it wasn't even running when I went, so I didn't even get to try it.
Honestly, I don't think you're missing much, to be honest with you. The other thing I would say that I did for the first time that I will never do again, which is ride the Wild Chipmunk alone. I will never ride that alone again. I was going up the thing, and if you've ever rode the Wild Chipmunk, there's no seatbelt. You sit in a tiny toboggan, and you hold on to the sides, which sounds insane now that I'm saying it out loud, that there is no safety device inside this thing. Again, I've ridden it 100 times. It's fine. Riding it alone is like, am I going to die tonight alone? That's how it felt.
Oh boy.
It was so bad. It was just like not fun. Also, they removed, this is where I get too nitpicky. There's 2 Wild Chipmunk signs. The neon one, still up, still looks awesome. Nice. There's one at the top of the ride that's just wooden, that just says Wild Chipmunk with no lights. That has been removed. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. There's just not a lot of lighting around it either. And that's partially why it doesn't feel like fun. So I'm nervous and sad. And I love that place more than life itself. I have a tattoo of it. I love it. I will love it till the day I die. I wish someone would come in, and I wish that the family would let them be helped.
Well, we know the governor is looking to do some kind of big 150th anniversary of the state landmark investment in infrastructure.
Oh my God. I would be his booster if he chose Lakeside.
Wouldn't that be a thing? You know?
Oh, that would be the best. That would be the best spent money we've spent as a state in a long time, because that place has my heart. It deserves it. And I don't want to deter people from going. Like I said, it was still busy. The service was incredible. Everybody I interacted with is great. It's still super affordable for families, and it's just really lovely. I love it. I just want the best for it. So that's where I'm at.
This episode of CityCast is sponsored by Babbel. Learning a new language opens the door to new friends, new cultures, maybe even a whole new life. So why not start that journey today? You can start speaking a new language with confidence thanks to Babbel's conversation-based technique. that quickly teaches you useful words and phrases about the things you actually talk about in the real world. I'm CityCast CEO David Plotz, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel, just one of the 12 languages you can learn with it, including Dutch, French, Italian, which is going to be next for me, Turkish, and Russian. I love the interactive dialogues that Babbel has, which allow me to practice what I've learned right away, and also the speech recognition function, which makes sure I'm getting the pronunciation just right, which honestly, usually I'm not. Also, I love that Babbel's lessons always cover actual things that I talk about in the real world, like food, talking to people I've just met, and also food. Staying motivated to learn a new language has never been easier thanks to real-time feedback, progress trackers, and handy visualizations, in only 10 to 15 minutes a day on Babbel's mobile app or website. So get talking with Babbel. I want you to learn another language, so I'm teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. The temps are going up, but that doesn't mean your sleep quality has to go down, thanks to Cozy Earth sheets. Denver summers can get hot, especially in old houses without central AC like mine. But with these new sheets from Cozy Earth, made from viscose from bamboo, my husband and I are sleeping cooler than ever. Recent studies and experts found that cooler temperatures facilitate the body's natural drop in core temperature at night, promoting the release of melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep. This leads to faster sleep onset and improved sleep quality. So why not check out Cozy Earth's 100-night sleep trial? Try their sheets during the hottest nights of the year, and if you're not in love, return them hassle-free. But trust me, you won't want to return them. Upgrade your summer. Go to CozyEarth.com and use code CozyDenver for 40% off their best-selling temperature-regulating sheets, apparel, and more. That's CozyEarth.com, and be sure to use code CozyDenver for 40% off. Sleep cooler, lounge lighter, stay cozy. Well, should we talk about bike lanes?
A very hot topic right now. Let's do it.
Okay, so there was a story over the weekend about these new signs that are being placed around wash parks, like bike and pedestrian paths, to commemorate cyclists who've been killed by car drivers and bring attention to safety rules for cyclists and drivers. What did you think about this, Paul, or what's up with this?
Well, I thought this was interesting because I think probably a lot of people who use Washington Park are wondering why this is happening and maybe feeling some mixed messages from our elected officials when it comes to biking and bicycle safety and bicycle infrastructure these days. I know I'm feeling that way. But this particular initiative is a project of the Colorado Department of Transportation, which is a state agency. They've partnered with Bicycle Colorado and some families of victims of bike-related fatalities over the last few years to call attention to the fact that a total of 79 bicyclists have died in Colorado since 2020. And they're doing it now, here in the summer, the height of the summer, because the majority of those deaths happen during the summer.
Yeah.
Probably when people are riding their bikes more.
Sure, when the weather's really nice.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, though, as a cyclist, what you thought about this?
Oh, about these kinds of PSAs?
Yeah.
I think that we know so much about why these accidents happen and like how much of it comes down to infrastructure and street design that I always find it curious when our government makes investments in biking and it comes down to like trying to get people to change their behavior and putting the responsibility on drivers or cyclists. Like, because these signs, and like nothing wrong with these signs, the intention is very good. But the signs are things like, hey, did you know that drivers are required by law to leave 3 feet of space when passing a bicyclist?
And it's like, but what does that look like practically on the road?
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know that. That is nice, I guess, to be reminded of that. Is that going to help me when I'm on my bike on that one spot on 15th Street downtown when I have to swerve through 3 lanes to get over to the Sharrow? Like, no, I don't think that's going to help me. That's not what it's about. That's not what's going to help.
I just have to say, again, I agree with you. It's nice to commemorate folks that we've lost. Like that's something really special that we can do, at least through signage. I just felt like this was preaching to the choir. Like,
a little bit.
What, Wash Park? Everybody that rides their bike in Wash Park knows the rules. That's not the problem. The problem is, like you're saying, on the road, the practical aspects of it. And it just felt like, this is what we're doing?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. I mean, again, it's nice, but also Wash Park itself has beautiful bike infrastructure. It has those like 3 separate lanes, and there's so many bike lanes that go in and out of Wash Park.
Yes.
And Denver itself, I mean, this is a statewide agency. I don't know. I guess they were going for population density or something to like try to get the most possible engagement on their campaign, or I don't know, but it's for a state agency to be doing this in the heart of Denver, where we're having this conversation about bike infrastructure, just was like, I wonder if this is the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it misses the mark for me, and also just speaks to the wrong part of this situation altogether, which is cyclists tend to know. It's what happens on the road between cyclists and drivers, and what messages are being sent to drivers, and like you said, what the infrastructure actually looks like. So, well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the infrastructure, because there was also this interesting interview from Tony Kowaleski on Denver 7 with the mayor, and they asked the mayor questions from Denverites. And there was a question about bike lanes. Can I just read the question?
Absolutely.
Because I found it fascinating.
Me too.
Quote, what are we going to do with these bike lanes that has taken up a lot of space and crowded our streets? Since I've seen them put in, I've seen 4 people riding in the bike lanes. I believe it's a waste. I mean, I guess this is a question.
Oh, we've heard this before. There's people that feel this way. It's hard to know how many, because this is so not, I mean, this is not the circles I run, you know? I talk to bike people. I don't hear a lot of like the folks complaining about it. Although I do talk to business owners who don't like it sometimes. But this kind of just like, no one seems to be riding it is like, oh man, I guess there are people out there like that. But
what are we going to do with these bike lanes? Yeah. Okay. So our audience knows how we feel about this kind of question. What did the mayor say?
The mayor said, I think 2 things are true. Classic Mayor Johnston. One is we want to have safe, protected bike lanes where anyone from a 5-year-old to an 80-year-old can be able to ride to and from downtown or work or a park. I also think I described it as a network of bike lanes should look more like a subway map and not like a bus map.
I didn't understand that.
I don't understand it either, except that there's less.
Yes, that's true, I guess. He wants less.
And then he goes on. If you look at the light rail, there are a couple of main arteries that run east-west and a couple of main arteries that run north-south. I think if we did that, then folks could go to those very safe, protected bike lanes and use them. I don't think we need them on 10 streets going east-west, all between 10th and 20th. I think that's a place where you can consolidate them and make them all safer. We'd rather have a smaller number of much safer bike lanes than a very large number of partially safe bike lanes. And we do want to balance the fact that we want more people to use bikes. And there are a lot of us in this city who still have to use cars, and we don't want to make it harder for you to use a car. We want to make it easier for you to use a bike. And yeah, I mean, let's stop there. We don't want to make it harder for you to use a car.
I mean, you said the quiet part out loud to me right there.
Yeah.
That's the crux of this problem is we're still a car-centered plant. Our city thinks in that mode for cars.
Yeah, I think his use of the word harder is interesting there. Like harder for you to use a car, because I think it's more about convenience. Like when we talk about construction projects and car people being so upset, we're talking about like 2-3 minutes of extra drive time, and which, that's irritating. Yeah, construction sucks. But that's what it is. You know, take out a lane, put in a bike lane. Maybe your commute takes a couple minutes longer. It's not harder. It's just a little bit less convenient.
Less convenient. Yeah, I think inconvenient and harder are very different things.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the culture of car driving in this city, I don't know. I think, I mean, the reason why we're talking about this is because perhaps no one is more mad at the mayor than the bike community right now, from my observations.
I just think transit advocates in general who are looking at mobility for cyclists and pedestrians, truly, I think that's the constituency that's really like, are you seeing and hearing us? Mm-hmm. You know, we've heard that even in the bond proposal conversation. Is I remember Jill Ocantori from Denver Streets Partnership being like, the city's just not prioritizing things that are not cars, or ways of getting around that are not cars.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened with Mayor Johnston, because some of these bike advocates that I'm following online, they posted some of his promises, the way he was talking about this on his campaign 2 years ago.
What did he say? I don't remember.
It seems like there's been a change of heart, or maybe he's been exposed to some new, some new opinions or some new communities that he wasn't before. But anyway, to the Denver Bicycle Lobby, he answered a questionnaire, and he said things like, "Will you commit to completing the Denver Moves Bicycle Network during your term as mayor?" Yes! ! "I am committed to working on expanding the Denver Moves Bicycle Network to make sure we can have a safe city for biking. I share the priority that making Denver a highly bikeable city and one where we have a strong network of high comfort bike routes across the city." Blah, 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 blah. I would need to have a conversation with Dottie about timeline, cost, implementation. But all of this is like, do you want to improve street safety and bicycle infrastructure by removing parking or travel lanes as context appropriate in order to create protected bike lanes? Yes, he says. Like, all of this is like, yes, yes, yes. There's not a lot of like, maybe this, or like, we have to remember that a lot of Denverites use the car. There's none of that in this questionnaire way back when he was a candidate.
Yeah, that does feel like a little bit of a change of heart to me. I would read it that way if I was a pedestrian advocate or cyclist advocate.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people are so upset about him. A lot of people that rely on their bikes to get around feel like maybe they voted for him and they're not getting what they voted for.
This is an interesting juxtaposition to Hancock's approach, honestly, where he was like super keen on expanding the network.
He very much was. I mean, there were definitely things like, there was people back then, and as they are now, saying, "Oh, why can't we have that great north-south bike lane through Capitol Hill? One of the pieces that is so clearly needed in our network for if you talk to anyone who uses a bike." And he never did that. But he did go above and beyond his goal of building 125 miles of new bike lanes. I mean, was it the most ambitious goal? Probably not, but he did it.
Kind of seems like more compared to current administration, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say the mayor's comment about like too many like half thought out bike lanes going north south. Well, then I would believe that argument if he had picked a street that they were just going to shut off to cars. If you were going to take one street and turn it all bikes, I would believe that. But I don't think we're going to see that. We saw that during the pandemic. Many of us enjoyed it. It was not enough.
Get this. Another question from the questionnaire from Denver Bicycle Lobby. When he was a candidate Johnston, would you make the car-free and shared street spaces established during the pandemic permanent and further expand them? Yes! !
What?
And he has specifically not done that.
Because we saw a lot of those shared streets get reopened in his tenure so far.
The 2900 block of Larimer up in Rhino. A few business owners said they didn't like it anymore, and what happened? Cars returned to the street.
Man, this bums me out.
It's something we need to talk to him about. I mean, I want to know, did something change? What made him change his mind? What is it? What did he hear from people? Why is it so important? I mean, I can imagine the answer is there's these business concerns, this issue about like tax revenues being lower than expected and the shortfall forcing him to do layoffs for city employees. Like, that's important too. We know he has to make hard decisions like that. Like, is that the concern? Is it business owners?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about that situation on the north side, and you'll remember which bike lane, what street this is, and I'm sorry that I can't. 26. And it was like one business couldn't get into a driveway. It was like a very minor, small thing that actually stopped the bike lane from being as complete as folks had wanted. And I feel like one of our listeners wrote in and like was very clear, like this is exactly who it's going to impact. And it was a very small percentage of businesses, and it bummed me out. And that was prior to the budget shortfall conversation. So we can ask him, though. We're going to talk to the mayor later this week.
Yeah, it was a few business owners, and there was that one land out. Here it is, West 29th Avenue. And there was that one house with the one very outspoken resident who really did not want that bike lane to take up her parking spaces.
Well, let's ask him about it. And you know what? If you have any questions for the mayor, let us know. Give us a call, 720-500-5418. We are tentatively set to chat with the mayor later this week. And you know that we always love to ask him questions that you all have. So let us know.
you top your love for your cat with a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast Gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast Gems.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
So before we go, it's Tuesday. We love to hear from you, our brilliant and hilarious listeners, about things that you care about, things that you're thinking about, stuff that we've talked about on the show. If you have questions or comments, and we've got a comment. Is this a voicemail?
This is a DM we got on Instagram from a longtime loyal listener who asked to remain anonymous because he says, "Hey folks, I need to clear up the whole culture of no conversation about Denver's planning department." Do you remember this conversation we've been having?
Is this about how businesses feel?
It kind of businesses feel like the city doesn't let them do the things they want to do. There was that one Italian restaurant, Giovannina's, who had the sign that they wanted to have outside their business, but there was some historic district and the planning department was like, you actually can't have that sign. So that was where the quote of culture of no came from, is that business owner felt like that's what they were confronting with the city.
Okay.
But our listener goes on. As a planner in charge of many of the city's most visible projects, I hear this repeated constantly. The issue is we have 2 separate zoning codes. Each is about 2,000 pages long. The sign section in one of those zoning codes is about 200 pages alone. The zoning code is a law adopted by council. It isn't guidelines or recommendations. I can't sign a permit that doesn't comply with the law. In that way, permit techs have a, quote, culture of no in the same way that loggers have a culture of killing trees. It is an inherent aspect of the job. About the 16th Street sign that keeps being brought up, this is the Giovannina's, it wasn't a planning issue. It was in the public right-of-way. In other words, the business wants to continue privatizing public land for their own benefit. It was also issued a temporary permit, and they're mad that the temporary permit doesn't last forever? CPD, Community Planning and Development, is some of the most overworked, underrated, and underappreciated civil servants in the city. We have to stop acting like they're just robots who exist to make people's lives more difficult.
Fair point.
I love that take.
There are always people.
Sticking up for his colleagues. That's so good.
And I do know of several folks who have come out of the planning department and went into the private sector because it was too stressful to deal with what they're dealing with. So that's a really good point, though, that this listener makes, is like there's people making these decisions, and also they are guided by some pretty detailed zoning regulations that they did not come up with themselves.
Yeah, they're just enforcing
the law.
I think is the main point. And if we don't like the law, change the law.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, which we can do here in Colorado if you got the gumption to do it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective. I think we're still dealing with this issue of, is it hard to own a business or operate a business here? I mean, we're seeing it, I feel like every week someone is closing or announcing they're very publicly struggling.
Mm-hmm. It's such a push-pull, you know. I don't think anyone has a right answer for this. I feel like the economy has cycles, you know. Right now we're in what seems like a down cycle locally. Mm-hmm. And these business owners are asking for more help. So are we going to give it to them? Are we going to empower our elected officials to, start new programs, start new initiatives to make things easier? Our mayor seems to be wanting to do that. I mean, I thought it was interesting talking to Councilman Darrell Watson the other day about ways that he has been like proactively trying to help businesses. And his examples, I thought, were like, I don't know if those are that proactive, to be honest. He cited the mayor's new permitting initiative as something that he has been working on, which is, from my understanding, an initiative of the mayor's office. And he cited some pandemic relief money that he brought to his district to help the businesses that were dealing with, the impact of some like particularly large encampments around Arapahoe Square over by the Mercury Cafe. And I was like, like, what else? What about something? What else? What else is happening?
I mean, we'll be continuing to watch this. And I know that's the other thing is we do hear from business owners a lot too of their, specific struggles that they might be having.
So reach out. If you got an idea, if you think there's a law that should change that would make your life easier or make it easier to do business in Denver, I'd love to hear about it.
Let us know. 720-500-5418. The How Do We Change Denver for the Better hotline, the Mayor's Questions hotline. Let us know. Again, we can ask the mayor about this. I'm sure we're going to talk about businesses too. So, Okay. Well, this was interesting, Paul.
See you next time.
Bye. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell Lakeside owner Rhoda Krasner about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you later.
Sorry, I just saw a squirrel jump at a bird feeder out the window and it missed. It fully missed and took a fall.